and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item of the salary board meeting is to approve the minutes of the July 14, 2026 meeting.
I'll move that we approve the minutes of the July 14th, 2026 meeting.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have two requests from Lisa Kovalik, Redevelopment Director. First one, create a position of part-time housing program manager effective 8/1/2026 to 12/31/2026. This is a temporary position as specified. This position is to work 19.5 hours weekly at a salary of $26,400 per year. Do I have a motion as such?
I'll move to create the position as stated.
I'll second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And second is a request from Lisa Kovalik, Redevelopment Director, to create a position of Assistant Director effective 8/1/2026 at a salary of $52,000 per year. Understand this is a budgeted position.
It would be paid for out of the
Out of
administrative
the
fees.
administrative of redevelopment.
Yeah, so it's the county is totally reimbursed for any money spent in association with that. Correct, Lisa?
Yes, and with the explanation that John does sit on the Redevelopment Authority Board. Do I have a motion?
So moved. I'll second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor? Aye. Anything else to come before the salary board this morning, gentlemen?
No, sure.
Okay, thank you. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved in second. That will adjourn the salary board meeting. We will now move on to our regularly scheduled Board of Commissioners meeting, again for August 11, 2026. We will dispense with the Pledge of Allegiance as it has just been conducted for salary board. First item will be to approve the minutes of our previous meeting, July 28th, 2026.
Move to approve the minutes.
I wasn't here, so you might want to second.
I will second that. Properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now for our favorite part of the meeting, the approval of the bills. We will turn this over to Controller Edwards.
Alrighty, the general fund, $836,505.60. Hazmat, $18,506.91. 911, $14,187.57. CDBG, $42,240. Domestic relations, $1,913.29. And children and youth, $278,005.12, for a total of $1,191,358.49.
Do I have a motion to approve the bills as presented by Controller Edwards?
So moved.
I'll second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Give us a moment to sign here, folks. Thank you, Controller Edwards. We'll now move on to personnel issues. The following personnel changes are provided for the Commissioner's approval. Under new hires, we have a custodian under the Commissioners effective 8/10/2026. Under transfers, we have housing specialist.
Demand immediate binding oversight that aligns with our community's values and ensures dignity and basic rights to the detainees under supervision in our county. We are making a decision that directly impacts human life and dignity. Xiaofeng Ji died in custody at MVPC, found hanging in his cell shower unit, a tragedy reported by numerous agencies. While his family has alleged she was hogtied, that detail remains unverified and they continue to seek answers. We also mourn an imam from Eritrea who died after being denied adequate medical care for chest and heart complications. These are not abstract policy issues. They are preventable losses that demand accountability. Beyond these deaths, there is documented patterns of rights violations. Detainees routinely denied translators, adequate medical care, and humane conditions. The facility currently depends on volunteers to fill gaps that a contracted operator is legally obligated to provide. This isn't just a failure of management, it's a failure of oversight. I also want to address the future of this facility. Currently, MVPC is a contractor-owned, contractor-operated facility under a contract with Clearfield County. If you vote to let this contract lapse, what is the county's plan? Will it become a government-owned facility run by a new operator, or will it fail under direct federal control? Either path carries serious risk. If the county steps away without securing transparency and local oversight, we lose our only leverage to ensure humane treatment and community accountability. We cannot trade one operator for another without guarantees. So I ask you directly, as elected leaders, you have a duty to protect the moral and physical well-being of our community. I urge you to 1, vote no on the Geo Group contract renewal, and 2, if the renewal is considered, demand independent oversight, full transparency, and immediate correction of all human rights violations, and 3, publicly clarify the county's contingency plan for ownership and operational oversight if the contract is not renewed, so Clearfield County retains meaningful accountability. Our conscience demands better. Our community deserves better. I urge you to do the right thing. Vote no on the renewal. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
I'm William Stessmeyer. I'm District Committee President of Phillipsburg. I guess I was just gonna wing it. The thing I've started, the longer I look at the facility, the longer I look at like what is happening to Clearfield. I've lived here about 5.5 years when I bought my house, and I've seen houses go from bad to worse. I've seen Clearfield decline. I've seen it worse and worse, and I think we're still being punished just for people who are just citizens, people who are just, just American. We like this America First idea, and I overall agree with it. But I don't think we are putting America first. I don't think Geo Group does that. I don't think the Captioning Processing Center does that. I think it puts corporations first. It's all about money. Like, Geo's making millions of dollars off Clearfield County right now. And guess what? We get like $200,000 of kickbacks, 250 jobs, 411 jobs, whatever the number is, we get a little bit back, right? In exchange for doing horrific things. It's like the coal mines. It's like the timbering industry. We shred our land, we shred everything. For what? 250 jobs, 411 jobs? Some cafeteria work? Like, I don't know. I don't see a good future in this. And I think you guys are almost out of time to stop it.
Thank you.
Other people can speak. I've said enough. I've said what I have to say. Go for it.
My name is Jackie Benillo, and I'm the co-clerk of State College Friends Meeting, Quaker Church and State College, so not part of the county. Part of my Quaker faith is speaking truth to power by listening to the voice of God within. And I'm here to bear witness in opposition to the abduction and detention of our immigrant neighbors into Moshannon Valley Detention Center. Considering that there's no clear path to citizenship for immigrants, they have worked hard to make good lives for themselves and their families. They have little to no access to legal support. Most who have come into the country are not criminals. Moshannon Valley Processing Center, and my understanding was that you had not gotten a contract from them, and it may be because they're trying to do a workaround and buy the detention center. And I don't know if there's any way that commissioners have an effect on that. But I would also ask, can we do something to bar that? I don't know who owns the facility currently. I'll try and look that up. But I feel like this does not belong in Pennsylvania. It does not belong. Even though I'm not a resident here, people that are from our neighborhoods in all areas of the state and outside of the state come here and are abused. And I think it needs to stop. Thank you.
Thank you.
As a resident, I'd actually just quickly like to tack on to that. Theodore of Chittister, Frenchville. So I know that the wardens have told you Geo isn't planning on selling, but I don't think the warden's the one that makes that decision, and I think you know that. That's all.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Susan Bida, and I come today simply as a neighbor from Allegheny County. I live in Allegheny County, and many of those who are detained at Moshannon Valley Detention Center are my neighbors. Over the past several months, I have become deeply concerned by the accounts coming from Moshannon, including allegations of inadequate medical care, mistreatment, abuse, and conditions that raise serious questions about the dignity and safety of people detained there. On July 21st, I helped with some partners in the community to convene a community gathering in Pittsburgh called Voices for Dignity at Moshannon. More than 100 people in our area came together to listen and to learn. We heard from people who had experienced detention at Moshannon, people who have visited and supported those detained there, advocates and representatives of elected officials. What we heard was deeply troubling. I was also struck by who was largely missing from that room, members of our Latino immigrant community. Many are afraid that simply publicly speaking or advocating for someone that they love could expose themselves or their roles or their families to unwanted attention or consequences. Their absence should not be mistaken for indifference, however. Their fear makes it even more important for those of us who can safely stand in rooms like this, speak when others cannot. I recognize that Moshannon provides jobs and economic activity in Clearfield County. Families depend on these jobs, and I do not minimize that. But economic opportunity and human dignity should never be mutually exclusive. We should respect both and expect both. We should expect both. So today I respectfully ask you to use your authority and influence you have to demand transparency, accountability at Moshannon. Listen directly to people who have been detained there. Ask difficult questions about medical care, safety, treatment, and oversight. And critically examine the role Clearfield County plays in allowing this facility to continue operating. I am not here because I believe immigration policy is simple. It isn't. I'm here because human dignity should be. The people detained at Moshannon are our neighbors for as long as they are here. They are someone's child, parent, spouse, or friend.
I'm
Their
sorry.
immigration status does not
Ma'am,
diminish their
you're out of
humanity.
time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll go. So, I'm Kaylee McLaughlin. I'm from Berrien County. And I'll tell you what, I've been to that center more than any single person in this room. I go there once or twice a week to visit. I've seen meals about every single time I'm there. And of course, they're not going to hand you a terrible plate of food. I'm going to get some things straight. Sometimes the portions are too small. Sometimes they're just disgusting looking. You know, and maybe some of them are okay. It's kind of hard to mess up breakfast, pancakes, French toast. So I can tell you what I know there. And I've seen baked beans that are the wettest yet driest baked beans I've ever seen, and I can't even describe that. I just want everyone to know that. I don't know how you mess that up. The bread is yellow. Don't know why. It's not good. It's the lowest quality you can imagine. And that plays into the for-profit nature of this business. What they do is they're making record profits and they are shaving costs at every single chance they get. They're shaving the costs of the food they purchase for people. They haven't seen, no, these people don't see a single fresh piece of fruit. I can tell you that I would like to see some transparency in these numbers that you say that are positive economically, like the amount of people hired, that parking lot there isn't even that big to hold that many cars. Maybe 150, 200, that parking lot. Does that sound about right? You want to spend there? So I think that what's happening is there is a lot of work that is online, perhaps, and not necessarily local. So transparency there would be nice. And I've been there at shift change so many times, and the numbers just aren't adding up to me. I'd really like to see some transparency. Oh, let me think what else. I know that they are also shaving money off medical care every single place they can. In order to get medical care for the people I visit, I have to come to you guys. I have to come to Mr. Sobel and I have to say, hey, can you please talk to the warden and get this guy an MRI? Can you get this guy to see a doctor for his failing kidneys? And I have another one with failing kidneys. They are actually taking them to the doctor now, which is an improvement. But by all accounts, I have to tell you that there needs to be some house cleaning in that medical unit, because by all accounts, they are so rude to people in there, and that just doesn't have a place in medicine. When you have to be a compassionate bedside manner, really should still be a key component of that.
Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Jaime Martinez. I'm a resident of Allegheny County. For months, I've been coming to Clearfield for these meetings. I've heard others, and I've stood in front of you before to ask you all to help close Moshannon. And I want to be very direct in my ask today. Again, I'm asking you to do that again. Because what we know about this facility shouldn't make its continuation feel inevitable to you sitting there. It should make its closure feel urgent. You know, this spring, men inside Moshannon refused meals to protest conditions, including allegations of inadequate medical care. One of those men, his name is Erin Daniel Chinchilla Roque, and according to reporting, Gio blamed him for organizing that protest. And they took away the tablet that he used to speak with his family and his lawyers, and they placed him in solitary confinement for 7 days. And an internal report said he was isolated to deter further actions. I want to sit with that for a moment. A man inside a facility in your county is raising concerns about conditions, and the response is to isolate him in order to deter others from speaking. And that's not isolated to this case. ICE's own data shows that Moshannon averaged 88 people in solitary confinement from October through March, the second highest number in immigration detention in the entire country. And so now I know that you guys are being told that ICE is searching for at least 1,800 detention beds within 30 miles of State College. Know that Moshannon has 1876. So let's call the spade, right? Maybe ICE tries to contract directly with Geo. Maybe they try to purchase the facility. Maybe they pursue some other arrangement. But none of that's inevitable, right? And none of it removes your responsibility in this moment. Moshannon is closed before. It can still close again. So I'm asking here in this room, please do not help ICE keep it open. Commissioner Glass, thank you for already saying that you'll vote no on another contract. Commissioner Sobel, Commissioner Winters, I'm asking for you all to make that same commitment on the record in front of the people that you represent, in front of the media. And I'm asking you to use whatever time remains in this contract to demand answers and clarity from ICE about what they're planning to do in Clearfield County and to our neighbors, the people that end up in your county. And if ICE tries to keep Moshannon operating without this county's participation, I'm asking you to oppose that as well and to use your influence in the community and your faith backgrounds and your humanity as a way to leverage that. Ending the county's contract is not the end of what we're asking for. We're asking for Moshannon to close. And so any ways in which you all can be helpful to that end is extremely important. And I'm asking you not to treat its continued existence as something you're powerless to change. Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for one more. We're a little over our 20, but we will take one more.
Anyone else?
I have a quick maybe comment if you want to let me speak again. I'll do it less than a minute.
It's up to the chair.
Go ahead,
Yes.
sir.
One of the things working in this region, I have been all over Clearfield County and all over Blair County, all over. There are migrants everywhere. Like they are part of our communities. You see them, and they kind of have started to hide. Is the big thing I've noticed in the last couple of years. And I think that fear and that hatred, it really infects this area. I think it infects the people around here. If ICE is looking for 1,800 beds, they're probably going to strike at State College. That's probably their mission in Philadelphia, or they're trying to increase a surge in some area to go after people because these are leftist cities. These are liberal cities. They are going after people who resist this administration. And it's the thing that's become so upsetting to me is they've stopped lying badly. Like they used to lie and they used to be really subtle about it. Like with the mountaineering story, they say they don't have enough money to pay these people. You know, with Geo Group, they say this is fine, everything's going exactly as intended. And it's so visibly not working that I think that's where we're starting to lose ourselves. Is that they've stopped lying to you guys. Like they're probably telling you the truth behind closed doors. I don't know. Like that's my question, is I think that we need to question what we're willing to put up with, what we're willing to sacrifice in this community for money.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we will move on. No old business on the agenda. Anything from you, gentlemen?
No.
Moving on to new business. First is to ratify the disaster declaration of July 28, 2026. This reflects a severe flooding in a portion of the southwest county as well as western Indiana and northern Cambria, northern Cambria. Do I have a motion to ratify this,
So
gentlemen?
moved.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
This, provided with other documentation to PEMA, will open those affected up to potential but not guaranteed state funds for disaster remediation. Moving on to item 2, consider approval of the election integrity grant.
This is an annual grant that is part of Act 88. So it allows us to be reimbursed for a lot of our election funds as long as we follow the rules of Act 88. And talking last week at CCAP, 66 out of the 67 counties participate, so.
And just for reference, the amount of that this year is $249,479. Do I have a motion to approve the acceptance of the election integrity grant?
So moved.
I'll second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. Next, we're going to consider Child Welfare Information System Data Sharing Agreement. That's a lot of words. I'm gonna kick this over. It's a lot of words for, I'm sure, a continuation.
This is a continuation, as stated just in the title. This is just the system that CYS uses. We've used it for several years. It's several counties do this. This is just our updated agreement that will run October 1st of 26 through September 30th of 2027. It's no financial commitment. This specific agreement, this just ensures confidential information is kept, how information is input into the system, password requirements, and those types of IT safety concerns.
Thank you for that explanation, and thanks Solicitor Bozovich for joining us. I understand she had another obligation. Do I have a motion to accept the Child Welfare Information Data Sharing Agreement?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor? Aye. Now, consider Clearfield Jefferson Drug and Alcohol Lease Amendment. I know this has been something that has
We finally got there.
We are getting there.
something that has been dragging on, and this is a key part of creating a drug court in Clearfield County, but it was a convoluted route to get there. If you care to give a quick overview.
So we currently contract with the Clearfield Jefferson Drug and Alcohol Commission for a space over in Du Bois. There was discussion of the drug and alcohol court, which is being proposed and working through the courts right now, of utilizing that space. In order to have it set up accordingly, they needed to make some modifications. So what this is doing is addending, it's an addendum to our lease. It doesn't extend the term. It modifies the monthly rent to account for half of the costs of that modification. So the county's increase, would be approximately $291 per month. In addition to that, a portion of those are going to be, transferred from the district attorney through opioid settlement funds to cover a cost of that. So that amount to the actual county for budgetary purposes will be a little less. But once we got there, it is fairly straightforward. And then that puts that space where it is usable for what is anticipated for drug court.
Do I have a motion to accept the Clearfield Jefferson Drug and Alcohol Lease Agreement Amendment?
I will be happy to make that motion. We've been waiting for a long time to see drug court develop in Clearfield
I'll
County,
second.
so I'm pleased to see that.
Thank you, gentlemen. Properly moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 5, consider approval of the purchase and install of a SAF link for the Rockton Tower site from Center Communications. This is something that has came to light in the last couple storm scenarios we've had. This is the microwave transmission capability from our 911 center on Leonard Street to the main tower on the top of Rockton Mountain. Has become unreliable in some extreme situations. And I'll turn that over to the solicitor. Any details on this? This
No.
is,
I would just note, this is an agreement, Center County Communications, Center Communications, I'm sorry, they are a provider that we work with. The director of 911 did reach out due to the emergency nature of this. Without that microwave link working, as stated during storms, there was a chance that communication was impacted. So there is a possible threat to public safety. The file is documented that this is within the emergency procurement because of the nature of that. So he was moving along to get that as part of his contract. So that way, especially because we continue to have storms anticipated, to ensure that there's no issues with that communication link.
and while there was not a complete lack of communication, I want to clarify that, but they had to switch to their local based radio system. It was problematic. It did not affect the outcome in any way, but this is something, and this is actually a redundant system that we need to have in place.
Yeah, when your primary fails and you go to your backup, you can't rely just on the backup. You
Right,
gotta
and
have the
they
primary
were working on the backup, which we would call the local radio system. So that is the reason behind the update of the microwave link. Do I have a motion to approve the purchase and install of what is referred to here as the SAF link? We generically call a microwave link.
Also moved.
I'll second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Consider lease agreement with Clearfield County Conservation District for election equipment storage.
The next two agreements are typically just reviewed by the commissioners unless there's anything for outside counsel, just due to my involvement with the conservation district.
That's fine, and this is just a lease of storage space, Conservation District.
I know Director Knoll with Conservation had sent these down, and, from my part, for the election storage in particular, I mean, we've been very happy with that storage, arrangement. They've been
Yeah,
more than.
And with the understanding that this is not a new agreement, this is a
The stuff has
continuation.
been there a couple years
Yeah,
now.
this
and
is just
it's
a
worked out.
continuation of an existing lease agreement. Do I have a motion to accept that?
So, go ahead, John.
Also,
Properly moved in second, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And on a related note, in the same building, consider the lease agreement with Clearfield County Conservation District for office space to house the Penn State Extension.
Again, this has been happening for as long as I can remember, and this is just an extension of a current.
And that is, the arrangement is that Clearfield County provides the office space to Penn State Cooperative Extension for services provided in Clearfield County.
The only thing that's changed is, for years, that was the Automart building. We contracted with the owner of Automart. Now, obviously, Conservation owns the building, but the location of the office has not changed at all.
Correct, and this is the second year of ownership by the Conservation District.
Yes.
So just, and once again, a continuation. Do I have a motion to accept that lease agreement with Clearfield County Conservation District?
Also moved.
And I will second.
Properly moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anything from the solicitor today?
I do not have anything this morning.
I have a brief election update. We're gonna keep doing these until we get these spots filled. Some good news, Bradford Township's first precinct, all their positions are now filled as of this morning, so that's really good. We're still missing Clearfield Third Ward Judge of Election, Clearfield Third Ward Majority Inspector, Kerwinsville Judge of Election, Burnside Township Judge of Election. So we have some time, but we need to get those filled. So anybody who's interested, who lives in those precincts, please contact the election office.
And while people may be thinking it's August, why are we talking about elections? We are already preparing for the fall election.
Elections never sleep.
Elections never actually stop either. And with the mail-in voting and the advent of, for the most part, an early voting component, it is important that we fill these positions. We are also counting on our media partners to help get out the word that we are looking to fill right now, particular Third Ward in Clearfield.
Well, I wouldn't sleep on Burnside. There's less people who live out there, and if we can't find
True,
somebody, that's
yeah.
a major problem.
And they're-
So,
But yeah, so it is, we are making inroads in filling these positions, but it is important that we be able to conduct safe, efficient, and secure elections.
and I do want to give Director Brian Norwood a shout out. The ballot is essentially done. And he did the programming this time. So we have successfully gotten to the point where I didn't get on that computer once. That's the first time since I've been here. So
Brian just came back from conference and he said that was a topic of, that it's not just us who can't find poll workers. It's
I'm
every
sure,
county.
I'm sure it
yes.
is a statewide
Everybody
issue.
has the same, there's nothing new under the sun. I talk to a lot of counties bigger than us who have big problems finding. They want to be able to consolidate. They have little tiny boroughs like we do that are kind of gumming up the works.
Well, and one thing I want to add before we adjourn is I do want to give props to my fellow county commissioner, Mr. Glass, who was elected CCAP, the County Commissioner Association of Pennsylvania. We were at a conference last week, and he will be president of the organization going into next year. And people are like, well, why do you have a statewide association? Out of the 67 counties, I believe we had 54 represented there.
64.
64. There are no problems we have that somebody else doesn't have. It is a great networking opportunity and a lot of valuable information shared through the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania. So I do want to congratulate Commissioner Glass on being elected president of that organization for the next year.
Well, thank you, Tim. I appreciate it.
Hasn't gotten a crown yet, but it's coming.
It is kind of, I will say this, it's kind of neat. Nope, I'll be the first one ever from Clearfield County. So that's kind of neat.
And as I can gain a picture of him with the crown and scepter, I will share it.
Yeah,
Anything else, gentlemen?
no,
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Second.